Good afternoon, everybody. It's David Schlotthauer here in the home weather office for Saturday, January the 6th, 2024. In today's quick update, we're going to be giving you some brief updates on that storm system for next week over the Midwest into the Northeast, bringing expected heavy snowfall and some ice. But we also have a third system that is on its heels. This one could be the more significant one of the bunch. So we'll briefly be talking about these in today's update. So I want to apologize if I do go pretty fast in today's video. I actually have a big party that is going on downstairs after I release this video. So I'm pretty much on a time crunch, unfortunately, for your Saturday. So this is going to be very brief, not very detailed, and I hope you guys are all okay with that. So here's a look at Monday, January the 8th, 2024 here on the GFS model, and we can see the next storm system taking shape over the Four Corners into the high plains, bringing in some rainfall there. But this system is going to generate some very intense heavy snowfall once it gets on the other side of the Rockies into the high plains. As you can see, that blue strip does indicate some pretty intense snowfall rates with severe weather for the deep south. In fact, you can see there by Tuesday morning, day 3, we have some intense rainfall over the deep south into the southeast, and this is why the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk for severe weather, because there is that confidence there for a fairly robust severe weather outbreak. And then eventually, intense rainfall does impact the eastern seaboard into the northeast, where you're also expecting quite a bit of snow, including for the Great Lakes. But that's followed by a much stronger system potentially by early next week. In fact, this is a look for Friday morning, January the 12th, 2024, where we have our third system. Take note, all the Arctic air up here into the northern tier. This is going to shape up for some of the most dynamic system in quite some time for the Midwest, and even for portions of the deep south could be at play with this system now. All right, so going forward in time, we can see just how heavy that snow is. And when I mean by heavy, I mean we're talking about dark blue colors. You can clearly see that there. I mean, that's incredible to take note of. All these dark blue colors, an indication that snowfall rates could exceed 6 inches an hour, but it gets even heavier than that. Look at this. It gets very heavy for southern Illinois, central Indiana, Ohio. This is a little bit on the far side out in model guidance, and we don't know exactly how this is going to all evolve for right now, but we do know there's been some model trends that do indicate that this is going to be a very, very impactful system, as you all can see. Look at all the latest model data that we have really has trended strong on this, and it is to be announced on how this is all going to evolve. Of course, the surface low not as strong on this run, but wow, 060 run was going ballistic. A 967 millibar system over Chicago, Illinois. Big time winds. If we look at the winds there, I mean, this would be an extraordinary event if it actually does end up happening. Good thing is it doesn't look as strong on the surface low perspective, but still very heavy precipitation is still in the forecast as that moves through. And then eventually out into the northeast it goes, followed by maybe a fourth winter storm system for the Midwest. When looking at the European model for the same time frame, we can see where the snow is going to be again. Similar to the GFS model, heavy rainfall to the south, that's where we have the severe weather. And then eventually, if you are in Missouri, Illinois, as well as, say, Wisconsin and northern Michigan, you have some of the heavier snowfall that is anticipated with Storm 2. Very heavy rainfall for the eastern seaboard and for the southeast. That's a guarantee, and that system moves out of the picture, followed by, again, that system that we were looking at on the GFS. Very, very consistent here also on the European, as that could be our next highly impactful winter storm. We're going to have to wait for the 12Z run to come out from the Euro, but since, again, I have that party that I am attending today too, it starts actually at 12 p.m., so in a couple of hours. I'm not going to be able to show you all the 0 or the 12Z run unless you want to sit here for days and days, hours on hours. No, I'm just kidding. But you get the idea. at today is definitely a busy day for me outside of YouTube, and that is why I gotta get this out before it gets too late. But you get the idea. Definitely a winter storm that we really have to watch in days to come. That third system, the strongest of the bunch potentially. Now, snowfall totals with the two storms combined, this includes the third system. So if you guys look at this and be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get several inches or whatever. This is 3 storms combined. All right, there's not much time for me to actually go through in great detail on each individual storm, but you get the idea. All you need to know is that the storm for next week will bring some snow to the Midwest, the upper Midwest, with an additional third storm that can bring this amount of snow. Look at this little path right here, all the way from northern Arkansas to southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, Indiana, as well as western Ohio. I mean, 2 storms combined. This is mainly with the first system or the third system, because the first one is actually right here with the snowfall totals. You could actually make out that discrete band. So you can see potentially 1 to 3 feet of snowfall with that third system for the upper Midwest and also for the Great Lakes. This includes for this Northeast, the extreme portions there might see a couple of feet of snowfall out of that. Now, looking at the European model for snowfall totals for the next, the next 180 hours, yeah, the Euro is pumping out some big snowfall totals with that third system. Look at how much snowfall you all might end up seeing. Yeah, that is 40 plus inches of snow. Actually, that might be even 48 inches of snow here in central Kansas. I mean, if that comes to pass, we will have to wait and see on future model runs. This could be historic. Ground blizzard conditions, most certainly some historically cold temperatures in the wake of that. Yeah, this one's got our attention for sure. But the good news is there's not a lot of consistency, so I wouldn't start freaking out when you see these snowfall totals just yet. But if it does stay in the future model runs, this is for next weekend. This could be a really big deal by all standards. Rainfall totals for the southeast and for the eastern seaboard, quite a bit, possibly anywhere between 3 to 5 inches for Georgia, for the Carolinas, for Florida. This is in the next 5 days. But when we add additional storms, we might see a little bit more. So definitely very wet for the southeast. Some flood potential over the next couple of weeks here. Unfortunately, it does not look good. And of course, for California, looking pretty dry. There are some early indications now that that ridiculous resilient ridge could sneak on back in and bring us some really dry, persistent weather. I don't know what's going on this year. I hope things trend wetter for the West, because right now they are not looking so favorable at the moment. Hopefully this is just a glitch in the 0Z model runs, and maybe the 12Z runs will be a lot better. Looking at your weather alerts map, definitely a very active one out there. We have winter storm warnings for the Northeast and even for portions of the Appalachians, and of course for much of the Poconos. We got a winter storm watch already out for that second system. And then look at this. Look at just how much weather alerts are all across the western half of the U.S. This is that very active pattern that is coming for the Midwest, and I would expect a lot more weather alerts to be issued in days to come as this second storm system propagates over into the Midwest, followed by that third system that could really make matters even more worse. Look at this. Freeze watches out already. Frost advisories. Yeah, this is pretty concerning, folks. I mean, just wild, wild, wild. Much colder air, heavy snow, strong winds. Man, polar vortex is hating the western U.S. Well, anyways, that is going to sum it up for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Once again, folks, I do apologize if this video was not very detailed today. Again, I am on a really tight time crunch, I should say, because of that party, and I don't want to make my family upset that, oh, you're always up here doing YouTube, right? Yes, YouTube is more important to me than, well, family is just as important to me as YouTube is. But, yeah, so this video is not going to be very detailed, unfortunately. But I'm hoping tomorrow's video should be a lot more in-depth. If time allows, that's for sure. But otherwise, if you did enjoy today's weather forecast, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Hit the like button and share this video with your family and friends on social media. And as always, be sure to check out the Discord server. There is a link in the description below this video. Well, thank you all for watching, and I'll be back with you more tomorrow.